So yeah, today we're just going to cover a bunch of questions I get asked all the time through YouTube from you guys. It's something I wanted to do for a while now, is just kind of cover most of these common questions that people ask, whether you're new to lake trout fishing or seasoned angler. We're just going to show you guys a super simple way to catch lake trout today, so stay tuned. Mark down there right along the bottom. We'll drop down, throw the motor in reverse here, see if we can stay on top of our bait. There we go, we got our back right into the wind, a few fish right underneath us here. We're on a little school of them here. We had one chasing us. Drop back down, see if we can get hooked up here. There's one rising for us. Try reeling up. There we go. That didn't take long. First batch of fish we seen. Just threw the motor in reverse and dropped down, and doesn't feel big, but hooked up. We're off to a start here anyways. Just wanted to take you guys out today and show you that you don't need all that fancy equipment to catch some lake trout. It's kind of a common misunderstanding that you need downriggers, you need spot lock, you need live sonar, but today I figured I'll just go out here and do it with just traditional 2D and main motor. Let's just fish right beside the boat here. There we go, easy release. We'll see if we can reset here and get back on them. Yeah, with that last fish getting unhooked right beside the boat here, I just brought you guys out here today. A little morning fish. Just wanted to show you guys some simple ways to catch some lake trout. I know it's kind of intimidating for people who haven't fished lake trout before, and a little bit of a misconception that you need downriggers, you need this heavy weight, you need dipsy divers, you got to get your lures down there deep. But today we're out here, it's a little bit windy, but we're just going to be going around with our main motor, traditional 2D sonar, and yeah, we're just going to be using some good boat control to stay on top of some fish and jig a few up. Yeah, sure, the live sonar and spot lock are all nice features, but I just came out here today to show you guys you don't necessarily need all that to catch fish. You can get back to some simple basics and get on some lake trout. So yeah, we'll get back at her here and hopefully get hooked up again soon. Oh, there's a fish. Keep the motor in reverse here. Just let your line out. Try to get back over top of our lure. There you go, you can see our lure fall into that fish. He's starting to rise up, he sees it, I'll just start reeling up, get him to chase. There we go, hooked up, just like that. Nice and easy. As soon as he seen that swim bait falling in front of his face, he just came screaming up at it. Just a little fish here. Full energy. Got it hooked. Give you guys a quick look. I'll get him right back in the water. Yeah, so we just seen that fish on our sonar. Just as soon as we seen it, we just had our finger on the line, just dropped her down. The fish just started rising up at it, and yeah, just started reeling as soon as you see him getting close to your lure. And yeah, that definitely triggered a strike, but we'll see if we can get on the top of another one and see if we can do it again. Bunch of fish right here. There's one racing up for us. There we go, hooked up. Just as we were dropping down there, we just turned it around on those fish. Hooked up. There you go. Feels like a little bit better of a fish here. Full energy anyways. Nice fish. Not too crazy, but get on that, give you guys a little bit of a look. Yeah, beauty of Cold Lake trout. Yeah, we were just driving up the ridge there to make another drift and seen that one, so we just threw it in reverse and flipped the boat around a little bit and dropped down to him, and he just came screaming off the bottom. But yeah, we'll get back down there, see if we can get a few more. Go on chasing here. There we go. Just turn around and stop on those fish. There's actually a couple of them down there. Don't look super big, but yeah, just small swim bait, stand right on top of them. You can see when they rise up off the bottom, and yeah, it didn't take us long to get hooked up there. Definitely feels like a smaller fish here. That's a little guy. We'll get him unhooked beside the boat here. Yeah, so I'll just quickly go over the rod and reel we're using here today. One of the biggest mistakes I see is people going fast or extra fast on the action of the rods, and that was a mistake I made when I first started lake trout fishing. But yeah, you're definitely going to want a moderate fast to a moderate action rod. Yeah, those are just kind of have a nice softer tip, and then the bend goes more into the backbone, so for those head shakes kind of absorbs them a little bit. If you do have one of those extra fast rods, it's just going to be just a tiny little bit on the tip is going to take most of the bend, and yeah, it's just gonna, as soon as you get a quick little head shake, chances are it's going to pop off. So yeah, we go with a heavy or a medium heavy rod. This is a medium heavy that I'm using here today. It's a medium moderate fast, great rod for lake trout, 7-footer. I got it paired with a 30 series Fluger President reel. Good reel. It's not too expensive, doesn't break the bank. It's got a decent drag on it, but yeah, pretty much any of those 3000 series reels are going to be good for lake trout. Got spooled up with 20-pound suffix, high vis. That high vis is definitely a must for us. When you're out there fishing, you can definitely see when the fish is hitting it on the way down. You'll kind of have a slack line, and you can just reel up and set the hook. It's just a second indication of whether you're getting a bite or not. That's a must for me. I always have it on. And then I got it with a 20-pound fluoro leader, about 5 feet long. It's lake trout here on Cold Lake. It's very clear water, so you want to have just a clear line so they can't see that braided line. And then I stay away from hardware. I don't got any swivels or any other connections like that. I just tie it straight to my line with a uni knot. You can use an FG knot as well. Both great knots for connecting your two lines together like that. And yeah, I don't use any bait or anything. That's kind of one of those things that's a little bit of a misconception, is that you need all this bait and everything. When you're fishing like this and you're looking for reaction bite, you don't really need bait. Oftentimes that bait can just impede the action of your hook, and you don't get a natural action on it because there's a chunk of bait hanging off the side of it. If you do decide to use bait, or if it's a finickier bite and you want to use bait, I would just suggest you just use a tiny piece of bait and kind of try to hide it so that it doesn't impede any of the action of your hook. If you got a tube jig, you just kind of stick it up the skirt of the tube just so you have a little bit of scent there, but I don't think it's super critical. Slower days, you can, when you're slowing down fishing near the bottom, it's definitely something you can do, but for fishing this technique like this, I don't think we need it. But yeah, we'll get back to fishing here and hopefully get hooked up again. There's a whole bunch of fish here. Let's just reel off, see what happens. So we can get one of these suspended marks to bite. We're out a little bit deeper. Just kind of drifted out there for a few minutes. But yeah, suspended marks, sometimes you can get them to go. Oh, this one's chasing here. There you go, hooked up. Just pause for just a second there. That other fish that we couldn't get to move earlier came in and smoked us. Yeah, we're in 130 feet of water here. We caught those fish. They're only about 80 feet down. They just moved off the structure, suspended out here in a little bit deeper water, which happens from time to time. This is a good technique for fishing for those suspended fish out in deeper water like this. You can just kind of drift along with the wind and let it push you, and just stop when you see one. A nice fish here. Hook out. Here's a quick look. Yeah, beauty lake trout out here on Coal Lake. Well, we'll get right back in the water. Let's get down there. It looks like there's a couple more suspended marks. Just try to keep us in reverse here and just keep us over top of them. There's already one coming at us here. Whew. That one was very high in the water column. Another one chasing here. There we go. Suspended mark again. It's a super fun bite when they're suspended like that. Just drifting over them and popping the motor in reverse just to keep us vertical so we can see our lure. It's the little guy here, all wrapped up. We'll get him back. A few fish down there now. Got some sort of school here moving in. Just try to stay vertical, stay on top. They can get one of them to chase. Here comes one. There we go. That one came screaming off the bottom here. Looked like a little bit better of a mark too. It's going on a real nice run. I haven't really been able to lift it too much yet. It's kind of glued to the bottom. There we go. Now we kind of making some ground here. See all the air bubbles on the screen? It's always a good sign when you're reeling up a nice fish like this. Come on, another nice run. I'll get the net ready for this one just in case here. Couple nice runs. Oh yeah, so beauty lake trout. Stay button, buddy. Yeah. I got him. Whoa. Yeah, an absolute tank of a lake trout. Yeah, there you go. Absolute beauty. Cold lake, lake trout. Gotta love it. Well, I'll get this fish right back in the water here. So after I caught that last fish here, I was going to go over a little bit about some baits. Yeah, you don't need anything too crazy. Today I was just using this swim bait from MOTO with a big sky jig head. It's got a nice long shank on it. The hook sits nice and far back on your swim bait. It's kind of a must for lake trout. Then we got a few other baits here that I use all the time. One's a pole dancer or even a tube jig. It's kind of a good go-to bait as well as a hair jig, but definitely want a heavier bait when you're doing the sharpshooting, kind of like this style. Kind of a 1 ounce bait is almost a must, if not even a 2 ounce bait. You want your bait to get down there really quick. Like I said earlier, don't really need any bait on it. We're just not using anything too crazy here, no swivels or nothing like that. Just tied directly to our hook, and yeah, we get down there nice and quick. But there's another fish on the screen, so we'll get down here and see if we can get hooked up. There's one on the bottom. Throw her in reverse, drop down. See your line fall in there. Fish kind of disappeared, but it looks like there's another one. We'll just see if he decides to come up at us or not. There he goes, now he's coming. Oh, we missed him. Still there. We got one chasing us again here. There we go, hooked up. Feels like a little bit of a smaller fish, but yeah, it's been a little while since we got one. Probably about 20 minutes, half an hour or so. Yeah, just a little guy. There we go, shook them off both sides. Nice part about barbless hooks is they come right off. Get a new swim bait and we'll get down there again. There's one coming off the bottom. There we go, hooked up. I'd seen a few really nice marks in here earlier, but couldn't get a bite. Finally another one came through, and doesn't feel super big, but it's going up pretty easy. It's about halfway up already. 90 feet here. That one came screaming up off the bottom. Decent fish. So let's get him unhooked at the side of the boat here. There you go. Yeah, after we caught those last few fish in the same spot, just kind of made me think of another point. If you're not marking any fish, don't bother fishing for too long in that area. Just because you caught a couple fish in the past, it doesn't really mean anything present. Those lake trout, they chase bait all around the lake, up and down the structure. So yeah, if you're not marking any, they're probably got some bait pushed somewhere else, or they're feeding somewhere else. So just move down a little bit. It doesn't have to be a huge move like halfway across the lake or anything, but you know, move 30, 40, 50 yards down, move 100 yards down. Just keep bouncing around until you start marking fish, because if you're just fishing blindly in one spot and you're not really marking much, there's probably not much fish to be caught there. So yeah, don't be afraid to move. can make or break a day. Just a small move. I've had it before, even today, where you just catch a couple fish here and there, and then you won't catch another for, you know, 20-25 minutes. So you just move to another spot and then you pick a few off again. So yeah, stay mobile and you'll catch more lake trout. So he'll get back to fishing here and hopefully get hooked up. There's a few marks way up quite a bit higher here. Let's try reeling up, see if we get one to bite. You're just playing with a few marks on the bottom. This one came down at us, he's gonna come up. There we go. Hooked up again here. Feels a little bit smaller here. Just kind of picking off these suspended fish. Oh yeah, nice colors on this one. Again, that's a smaller guy. Right in the nose. Look, I'm getting him back down. So yeah, the main thing you need to make this all work is you just need a decent sonar unit. Doesn't have to be anything too crazy, just a traditional 2D. Today I was just using my Humminbird Helix 9. It's a good little unit for jigging lake trout. But the other main part you need is you need to have good boat control to be able to use your sonar. If you don't have good boat control, well, you're probably not going to be able to stay on top of your lure. So today for my boat control, all I'm doing is I'm just keeping my back of my boat, my motor right into the wind, and then kind of as we go up, I'll put it in reverse and just kind of suck myself back just to stay vertical on top of those fish. And yeah, the more you do it, the better you'll get. It's definitely a lot harder to do it with a console boat than it is to do with the tiller, but we made it work today just to show you guys that you can do this with any boat, and you just need some electronics, and yeah, you can get on some fish like this too. So yeah, we got about an hour left here, so we'll get down there and hopefully we can get a few more bites before the day wraps up. There we go. Up again. School I moved in 3 or 4 fish. Sure enough. It's kind of what we like to see is multiple marks on the screen. Usually you fight for it a little bit and you get a bit of competition going on and one will hit you. But that's just good seeing fish, and fish is right at the boat here. Let's get them on hook quick. There we go. Got another fish there. Just drop her in reverse. See if we can stay on top of it. Looks like a little bit of a decent mark. There we go. Changed his mind a little bit here. Just keep reeling, hopefully we get him. Did take a few swipes at her. Let's see if this other one. No. So now they're chasing us up and down, and just keep fishing them here, see what happens. Sometimes you can get a bite, sometimes you don't, but he'll just drop down. Just like another mark here a little bit lower. See if we can get his interest. Trying to stay vertical here just so we can see our lure. Bumping in and out of reverse. It looks like those fish might have taken off a little bit here. So after that last fish kind of toying us up and down and a couple coming in and out and not getting a bite, I just wanted to say, like, sometimes lake trout fishing, when it's off, and it doesn't matter what you do, you just can't get a bite. And yeah, sometimes you take those moments and you just make small changes, like change up your lure a little bit, maybe downsize, or just change to something different to see if you can trigger a bite, or change up kind of how you're presenting it to them. Maybe slow down your reel speed, do a stutter reel, or just kind of change things up a little bit. You'll learn a lot throughout the day either way, as even if you're not catching them. But yeah, then when the lake trout fishing's on, it's on. Like, seems like every fish that swims by you get hooked up with. Those days definitely make you appreciate the days where you grinded it out for a few bites. But yeah, just don't get discouraged if you're not catching them right away. You do learn lots, and it is a learning curve for lake trout fishing. And yeah, we'll get back to fishing here and hopefully we can get hooked up. There we go. Here's one chasing up pretty aggressively. Oh, still can get a bite here. We'll drop back down. Sometimes when you're dropping down, you just kind of let it go a little slower. Use your finger to stop it. Sometimes that'll get that fish to notice it and it'll chase it back to the bottom. So like right here, I just dropped it. It's like my bait's right on the bottom. That fish chased me right to the bottom. Sometimes I just pop it off the bottom a few times and then I'll just reel up, see if something happens. Just like that. Almost like it was scripted, but yeah, these fish are cooperating, and yeah, just goes to show you, sometimes you just change it up a little bit on the way down, get them to chase down to the bottom, and you can get them to chase right back up again. Lake trout fishing is super fun. Yeah, just another smaller one here. There you go. Yeah, barbless hooks on the side of the boat are super nice. If you plan on catching and releasing your lake trout, you don't plan on keeping anything, I always recommend going barbless. Even if you are keeping them, barbless is definitely the way to go. Just a little bit easier on the fish, makes less handling, and you can get right back down there and get another one right away, especially when you're on a school of them. So yeah, right off the bottom there. Jigged her and absolutely smoked it. Didn't get a chance to reel up. Let's go. Coming up pretty easy, so I imagine it's another smaller fish. There it is. Well, I'm ready to see if we can shake the hook out here. Hook out, get them back in the water. Yeah, so with lake trout, they can kind of scatter at all depths, but it's mid to late summer here, so water temperatures are fairly warm, 61 to 65 degrees, depending on where we're fishing. And yeah, that'll set up the thermocline around that 35 to 40 feet. So the water above that will be pretty warm. Those lake trout will come feeding up, then they'll see your bait. Sometimes they'll hit that warmer water and they'll turn. Quite often it's almost like an invisible barrier that you'll see, and they'll constantly turn at that same depth. Generally that's what it is. It's usually that thermocline set up there, and the lake trout don't like that warmer water. With that being said, today we were in about 80 to 100 feet is where we've been having most of our luck. So they kind of set up out a little bit deeper, and the odd time we did drift out over some deeper water, 140, 150 feet. But most of the time those lake trout that we were catching are only 80 to 100 feet down. Sometimes off that structure, they'll kind of just push out and feed, even though the bottom's dropping off. They're not necessarily bottom orientated. They're kind of sitting up off the bottom a little bit and feeding on those suspended Cisco. And yeah, that's what we were doing today. That's where we were catching them. But yeah, we'll get back down and hopefully get a few more before the day wraps up. up. Feels like a smaller fish again. Decent fish. Guys, a quick look. I'll get them right back in the water. Yeah, so with that last fish, I think we're gonna call it a wrap. We did get one really nice fish today and then a bunch of smaller fish. So still a pretty fun day out on the water. But yeah, hopefully that goes to show you guys that you don't need downriggers, you don't need dipsies, you don't need anything too crazy. Just good electronics and just good boat control, and you can get on top of those fish and jig. It's very simple to do. I know lots of people think you need spot lock and, you know, live sonar, and you know, that stuff's nice. Definitely puts more fish in the boat. It makes the job easier of staying on top of them, but you don't need that stuff. You can keep it pretty simple, still catch a bunch of lake trout. So yeah, if you're new to lake trout fishing, don't be intimidated to come out and try it. It is a little bit of a learning curve. Trust me, every trip out, you learn something new. Kind of keep going at it, and eventually you'll figure it out and have some really awesome days on the water. But if you guys like this content, hit that subscribe button and we'll catch you on the water next time.